in the car, headed to the gym. You're probably going to get a lot of videos on the way to the gym simply because it is convenient, which is a big deal. You know, having time to do everything in a day, and doing videos too can get kind of crazy, planning everything. 12:30. I'm yawning like it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I went to the doctor Wednesday and had my 5-month checkup for the lung transplant. I don't guess the anxiety that comes with going to the doctor and having to do PFTs and x-rays ever goes away for a CF patient. You know, I figured once everything leveled off and I was doing real good, it would probably not be as much of a worry, but 5 months out, going to the doctor, you know, as much as I have over the past months, years actually, it's still there, and I don't think it ever goes away. Anticipating PFTs and things, you know, wanting good numbers, wanting everything to be up and progressing is a real big worry, I guess you could say. I really don't fret about it much, especially now. I've been making leaps and bounds as far as gains go in lung functions and weight and everything else. But I finally made it back to baseline, actually. I'm weighing around 137 as of Wednesday, so that's 10 pounds heavier, 10 to 12 pounds heavier than I used to be normally just walking around with the CF lung issues. Now that my body's not having to fight all of that, I'm not having to worry about holding food down, you know, coughing so hard I throw it back up after I eat. Temperature changes in air and things like that cause you to cough. Haven't had any issues with that. So, I'm actually able to eat a lot more than I ever thought I would be able to, which is awesome. You know, I want to be 150 and not a fat 150, but you know, a solid 150. And right now I'm at 137, so I figure, you know, 15 more pounds, you know, roughly, and I'll be good. Everybody knows the scales at the doctor's office are usually what we judge by. Got the yawns. But I usually give them a 2 to 3 pound fault. So, you know, I'm figuring 135 to 137. So another 15 pounds and I'm good to go. As far as my personal goals, I don't know, you know, what the doctor has in store or has in their heads for me, but that's what I want. Not just because I think that's a good, healthy weight or anything like that, but because it's a goal. It always has been. 150, man. 150 has always been a goal ever since I was like 18 years old. You know, I thought good muscled up 150 is a good place to rest. I may not be able to rest there. I may be stuck at around 137, 140, you know, every day walking around average weight, but I'm going to get that 150. You can bet your pants on it. So slowly but surely I'm getting there. With the gym is helping. I have leveled off some. You know, the weight shot up real quick after the transplant because I had lost so much. But after about 133, I've started actually leveling off, and the weight gain has come a little bit slower. So from last visit to this visit was 133 to 137, and the prior visit was like 123 to 133. So The weight gain is coming slower, but that's okay. The way I have always viewed it, and not only that, but it's been my experience that things that happen over time, especially longer times, I'm talking like years, not months, weeks and months, but years, are actually lasting changes and sustainable changes. So if it takes me a full year to get to 150, I think that's great. You know, I'm concerned about the fact that I shot to 137 with just in 5 months after transplant. You know, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, you know, and the weight to start falling off again. But I'm tracking my calories, trying to watch my macros, you know, to make sure that I'm getting the right proportions of everything and not just carbs and fat calories. Because I am in the gym, I want to build muscle because that's what's going to last. You know, the muscle is going to put on weight much quicker, and it's going to be much healthier in the long run. So that's kind of the long and short term goals as far as health. But got a little bit of a spanking too. We went into the gym, and I'm a big hunter, big avid, you know, outdoorsman, that kind of thing, and it's hunting season. I haven't been able to hunt in about 3 years really, and I'm wanting to get back in the swing of things, start, you know, practicing with my rifles and my bow to make sure that I'm hitting on target. And I asked the doctor about it because I still have a port as well. Still got the port in, and it's been kind of bugging me lately. The more I'm able to do, the more it gets in the way. And so I asked the doctor about getting it out, and he kind of laughed and said, "You ready to get it out?" And I said, "Absolutely, I want it out." And he said, "Okay." So he said, "Give it till January." He said a good, 6 to 8 months is really good. That's usually after that period, the chances of you actually having issues are a lot lower then. So plan on getting it out in January, and I'll be glad to get that sucker out, because even though it has been beneficial, it's time to move on. So that's a plan as well. As far as pulling the bow and shooting the rifles, he wasn't too thrilled with. He said, "These are all good questions. I like to hear this. This means you're getting better, you're ready to do more, and you're wanting to do more." He said, "But because they cut the sternum, they actually saw the bone in two and pop your chest open like a car hood." And he said because of that, it takes to a year for it to actually heal up, good. So he said, no pulling the bow and no shooting the rifles. You don't want a bunch of trauma right there. He said they have recently had a kid that went through a lung transplant, pull some heavy weight and separated the brake, he said, and it's causing him a lot of issues. He said, and we don't want that. So I don't either. So we're gonna watch out for that. He said he wants to keep me around the 10-pound mark. I didn't tell him what I was doing in the gym, although I told him I was going to the gym, so I'm sure he suspects. But I am way, 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 way past 10 pounds on everything. So I'm going to actually have to dial it back some, because, again, he is a doctor. I pay him thousands of dollars for his opinion and his experience. So we're going to rely on that and kind of ease off a little bit. And that's really no big deal. Being 6 months out, I have noticed that I put on a lot of muscle really quick, and I want to be able to sustain that. And one of the best ways to be able to sustain that is to have just some really good workouts, and drive your muscles all the way to fatigue. Drive them until you can't lift that last rep of 10 pounds one time. Make sure that you're getting those fatigue sets in, and that's one good way to sustain that. So I'm going to back off the weight a little bit, and maybe increase the reps some, but what I'll do is just do more sets. I'm not a big fan of high reps. If you're hitting 8 to 12 reps, in my opinion, that's a little high, for building muscle. So what I'm going to do is probably just go ahead and boost my reps back up to the 8 to 12 mark, and then on top of that, I will add in more sets. Right now I'm doing 4 sets of anywhere from 6 to 8 reps, and what I'll probably do is just keep my 4 sets and just go up to the 8 to 12 rep mark, and then maybe later on add an extra set, maybe do 5 sets or something like that. It's one of those things. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube about building muscle and things like this, and programs and stuff, and it cracks me up, the misconceptions that are out there about body, not just bodybuilding, but exercise and fitness alone. You know, any program will work if you just stick to it. I've seen it time and time again. You know, if you get online and you dig up some of these old school programs and you stick with it, then, you know, it's going to work for you. The problem is we have this really microwave mentality of, you know, I want everything right now. I want it as quick as possible. And if I don't see results in 1 or 2 weeks, then this program doesn't work. I'm going to try something else. Guys, you need to be giving any program you do a minimum of 2 to 3 months. I'm talking 6 to 8 weeks on a solid program before you even try to look for results. And even then, if you're not seeing much results, stick with it even longer, because the programs work. I mean, you can take any bodybuilder's program out there and put it to use, and it'll work for you because they're proof it worked for them. And of course, you know, I'm a strong believer also in diet, muscle and abs and all that, you know, are built in the kitchen, not the gym. It's just one facet, and diet and nutrition is a really big deal, especially now. If you're a CF patient, it should be one of your key priorities. Is get an app like MyFitnessPal or some kind of calorie counter that can help you get them calories in, as well as make sure you're getting the right types of foods. Because, man, I can eat 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day in Snickers bars. That's no problem. But we all know what our health would be if that was the case. So you want to make sure you're getting those good carbs, not the fast carbs, or what I call fast carbs. You know, those white flours, white breads, white potatoes, things like that. You know, that starchy stuff. And get some good carbs in. Make sure you're getting the good fats in, especially if you're a post-transplant, or if you're going into a transplant. Now's the time to actually start working and tweaking your diet. Bad fats make you more susceptible, the transplant meds make you more susceptible to cholesterol buildup and things like that. So you want to make sure you're getting the good fats in, and starting now and working into that post-transplant is going to be much easier for you to not only to understand but to do. So keep that in mind. And of course the protein, you know, make sure you're getting that good protein in, and work your way up to the ounce per pound of protein that it requires to really build good big muscles. But fixing to be at the gym. It's leg day. Going to go in here and get a real good pump, and hopefully have a really good workout session. Wife's been going with me a little bit. She's been videoing me a little bit, but I'm going to get her to maybe do one set of each exercise that I do on different days, and just kind of post them later, so that y'all can kind of see what I do in a day on working out, the way I split my stuff up and that kind of thing. Because what I do is a little bit unconventional. You don't see a whole lot of exercise programs out there like the way I do it, but then again, there are several. So, and what I've done is just found something that works for me and what I like. I've done several different programs that people have made, and if they don't feel right to me, if I don't feel like I get a good pump, then I'll usually only do them for about a month, and then I switch to something else. You know, I don't trash the program completely, but I don't stay on it. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, again, CF patients, nutrition, exercise, and leading up to transplants, you know, exactly the same thing, except even more so. You need to be more diligent, more disciplined, and things like that going into transplant. And then when you come out of it, it will be much easier for you to deal with on the back end, because on the back end you have really got to have your stuff together so that you get the benefit of the recovery process that they set up for you and that your body needs. So yeah, good video, good talk. Get through this intersection here without getting my front end taken off. And we'll see y'all next time.